Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is AMC Movie News senior editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, welcome back to Casual Couch Fridays. I did not expect to host either, so surprise. I was trying to play hard to get today, but obviously that didn't work.
Also here, one half of Schmoes Know, Christian Harloff.
We on the couch. We on the couch. Is that the new song, or is that just something that's never gonna catch on?
I love it. I'm in.
I just
yeah,
wrote that.
It's a hit. It's a hit.
That's good. All right.
Also here, movie reviewer Chris Stuckman.
Did you guys ever watch The Big Comfy Couch?
No.
I'm from the 90s.
Mine?
I would watch a show called Big Comfy Couch. I would.
You just wrote it.
Yeah, that's good.
And also here, film critic for IamRogue.com, Jamie Philbrick.
Hey, what's up, guys? Great to be back.
Great to have you guys. So, as often happens when we send out the show notes this morning, other goodies and tidbits filter through the interwebs, and our good friend the Schmoes kind of broke an interesting story you'll all want to hear about. So, Christian, why don't you lead us off with that?
Yeah, this was pretty cool. We got a very, very great tip, reputable source that Fantastic Four. So there was always speculation, obviously, that either Sue Storm or Johnny, they were going to be adopted. Well, it turns out that Sue Storm is the adopted one. That is, I know there's speculation of that, but that's the confirmation. The other thing, I think, not be a big surprise here, but Josh Trank really, really focusing on a character-driven Fantastic Four. That's what this movie, from what I'm hearing, is going to be. And people worried about Miles Teller because his characters are always cracking jokes. And if you haven't seen Whiplash, you should. This is one that could win you over because from what I'm hearing about Reed, is that he is going to be very shy, and whether or not he warms up once he gets his abilities, we don't know, but he's going to start off very shy, very introverted, and there's a lot of cool stuff that I'm hearing happening with this movie. I'm getting more and more excited as I hear these things.
Chris, thoughts on what you just said?
Well, I mean, we've had 3 Fantastic Four movies, and I'm counting the one from the early 90s, which could be called a movie. I don't know what it is, but
it might be the best of the 3 we've had so far. And that's shocking to say.
In regards to entertainment value, absolutely the best one for sure, because the other 2, I don't know what happened with those. But I'm sure that by now they've figured out how to make a good one. Like, they have to. They've done it 3 times now. It's like you can't mess that up, and they got a lot of talent there. I hope it's great.
And Josh Trank, I mean,
that's
Chronicle,
thing, yeah.
like he's just a really he's just innovative and he's fresh, and I feel like he's going to bring a really interesting spin to it. And we've been talking about this forever. When it was first cast, we're like, oh, okay, they're going younger, whatever, which is fine. They're rebooting it. I get that a lot of the characters, it's maybe not who you envisioned, but for what they're going for to launch a brand new franchise, it's smart to start off that way.
Yeah.
And Whiplash, spectacular. Now I have seen Teller's abilities. Sure, he does this kind of douchey, like 21 and over role, which he's good at too. But that's not what people want in Reed. Right. And so I'm glad to hear that confirmation. And yeah, we kind of guessed that it would be that situation with the siblings.
They're going to be adopted. I just didn't know the confirmation that Sue is the one who's adopted.
Right.
And from what I hear, Toby Kebbell already knocks it out of the park.
He's so awesome. Like
I mean, I was very vocal about not being excited about this film. We were on the show together. We talked about that. And after this news, like I'm more excited about it, more optimistic.
You get hopeful that Trank really, it looks like
I feel like he's the right guy. I feel like he knows what he's doing. The casting I was concerned about, and Miles Teller, I just saw Whiplash, which is one of the best movies of the year. Up until this point, my Miles Teller experience had been Footloose, 21 and over, and that awkward moment. So I was not excited about Teller. But now, seeing Whiplash, he's got the goods.
Yeah,
so he can bring it.
Yeah, and it works. And like what Chris was saying before, as far as they haven't done it right in the past, when you get a filmmaker like Trank involved, you start to get more hopeful. And also it gets me more hopeful for the spin-off Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Well, and Kinberg is involved, Simon Kinberg involved in Fantastic Four. So obviously after Days of Future Past, and we saw how good that was, and I'm excited about that. Michael B. Cabell, I mean, and I actually think Jamie Bell, while an interesting choice for Ben Grimm. He was the one I was most excited about in the original announcement.
I think we're in good hands right now from what I'm hearing.
And I like Kate Mara.
Let's just hope it's better than the last Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan collaboration. That awkward
moment, and being character-driven, that's exciting too. To hear that,
that's how it should be. So all signs point to we're in for a good treat. All right, Ashley, let's go to the real movie news now.
Alrighty, before X-Men Days of Future Past hit theaters, director Bryan Singer informed us that a large character would be cut out of the film in the form of Anna Paquin's Rogue. Now it appears that we'll get to see those deleted scenes as 10 minutes of extra footage will be added back to a special cut of the DVD. On the edition, writer Simon Kinberg stated, "It's a big chunk, a substantial part of the movie. Every movie has scenes that are cut out, but not every movie has scenes cut out with such a beloved character." Amy Rose, are you looking forward to seeing the extended cut of Rogue scenes?
I don't know who I charmed over at Fox, but now I'm been able to talk about X-Men on the last 3 shows, and I'm so happy about it. First things first, more X-Men from a film that was as spectacular as X-Men Days of Future Past is hardly a bad thing. But I do not like what they've done with Rogue in the franchise to date. Could they have changed it with this film? Perhaps, but why would they have cut it then? So Rogue is an amazing character in the comics, and Anna Paquin, again, it's not her fault. We've talked a lot about Halle Berry's Storm and the different people being recast for Apocalypse. And again, if you don't have good material, I don't care how talented you are, it's not going to be that great. Some of her lines with Toad, oh God. So it's not going to be great. And I felt that way with Rogue. I just felt like they made her so whiny and annoying, and she's not supposed to be like that. So I am curious to see what they would have had to fit in the framework of this film, because I loved it so very, very, very much. But at the same time, you know, if it was that spectacular, they would have cut it. So
do we know what the scenes are? Do we?
I think so.
I mean, I have an idea, but has it been confirmed?
If it's going back, the reason I don't like this news, I would rather see the scenes on a deleted scenes on the Blu-ray. That's fine for me, because Kinberg himself did an interview about this. From what I've speculated is that it's the scenes where in the very beginning of the movie they break her out of prison. They shot it all. It was done. It was supposed to be in the movie. It was old Magneto and old Professor X. They break her out of the prison, and Kinberg himself said it wasn't flowing right. It wasn't working. So now they're putting it back in, and it's
my thought was that, because then spoiler alerts if you haven't seen Days of Future Past yet.
Shame on you if you haven't.
And shame on you if you haven't. But the scenes towards the middle of the end, or middle and end of the middle, where Kitty Pryde has thrown Wolverine back, and then when he meets Stryker in the past, and that causes him to have some problems, and he slices Kitty Pryde, and then part of the problem is, can she keep? I kind of thought that was where Rogue would come in, take Kitty Pryde's power, and continue to send him back.
I mean, that's very possible.
I probably would have enjoyed that more.
Yeah,
you know,
that would fit in the story.
Yeah.
And also her connection with Iceman. Iceman was there.
Exactly.
You know, and bring him back.
Arguably, Rogue was the main character of the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue for Wolverine, but Rogue was really the one that the audience was experiencing the movie through. And she continued to be kind of present, but it was like each film was like, like just less of Rogue in each film. And then my thoughts were that they were going to kind of improve her character a little bit, because with the new film, it was so good, and it was like Bryan Singer's return to form for this franchise, that it was his opportunity to maybe give her a little bit more fleshing out and a little bit more like she was in the comics. But I have a feeling like it's probably like what you guys were saying, that they just were like, you know what, this isn't really working.
It's not working, yeah.
Well,
And
she
there's
never
so
got
many things happening in that story already.
Yeah.
That an extra character with an extra arc and all of this stuff might have made it kind of
and Rogue's
uneven.
never had the opportunity to be the Rogue from the comics
Exactly.
that we love. Now, one of the great things about Days of Future Past is that Mystique finally got that opportunity. Where she had sort of been marginalized in the past films.
Especially in the third one.
Especially in the third one. So that would be nice to have Rogue, you know, back in this one. But then there's also the continuity issue from the third film. Does she have her powers? Does she not have her powers?
But the reason I think it's good that they cut it and don't have the extended cut, because eventually, look, from what we've heard of the synopsis for Apocalypse, that we're going to have young Cyclops and young Storm. Young Rogue. Because we're rebooted now, and we can do that. And
would she be like 5, right?
but as we move on past Apocalypse and everything else too, she's young in this too. But even so, we can eventually start introducing a new character. So I kind of think we should get away from the Anna Paquin version of it, because
I'd like that.
Fans, and you're
it's
an X-Men diehard.
I will say I do really like it when there isn't an option on the Blu-ray or DVD to see the deleted scenes in the movie. I really like that a lot, and I wish they had done that actually with the Wolverine. And put the alternative cut where he gets the costume at the end scene actually in the movie, so you can see it, not just in extended.
There's actually going to be a couple versions of it, from what I understand. Of course, Fox is capitalizing on it. So in October, there's going to be the standard theatrical version, and then I guess next year they're going to release it with that. So
so that's not till next year.
Apparently, so I hear.
Because they want you to get the first Blu-ray and then get the second Blu-ray.
And honestly, it's smart, because I do want to see it.
I'm still waiting for an Amazing Amazing Spider-Man 2 cut where it's like Amazing Spider-Man 2, this is actually the movie.
There you go. All right, Ashley, what's next?
Keep holding your breath.
Over 2 decades have passed since the second film in the Bill and Ted series released, which starred Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. There have been talks of a third film for quite some time, and now, according to Winter, armed with Galaxy Quest director Dean Parisot and financial backers intact, the film is definitely coming. Winter stated the following on the upcoming plot. Bill and Ted will be 40-something, and it's all about Bill and Ted grown up, or not grown up. It's really sweet and really effing funny, but it's a Bill and Ted movie. That's what it is. It's for the fans of Bill and Ted. It fits very neatly in the series. It's not going to feel like a reboot. The conceit is really funny. What if you're middle-aged, haven't really grown up, and you're supposed to have saved the world, and maybe, just maybe, you kind of haven't? There's many versions of ourselves in the movie. It's answering the question, what happened to these guys? They're supposed to have done all this stuff. They weren't the brightest bulbs on the tree. What happened 20 years later? To answer that question in a comedic way felt rich with possibility. Christian, do you like this concept for Bill and Ted 3?
You killed Bill and Ted, you made evil plankweed. I don't know, because there's no mention of time travel in this quote.
Right.
So that scares me a little. I'm sure we're gonna have time travel. You have to in a Bill and Ted movie. Alex Winter wants this desperately to go.
Oh, yeah,
Alex Winter needs this.
He needs this to go, because
Yeah.
he's been working as like an executive for like Cartoon Network for like the last couple of years.
So he's getting tired of mopping up the floors. He wants to get in the movie.
Well, I'll tell you what. He actually is a very capable creative force. But when he's not, he hasn't acted in a very long time.
Right.
So of course, he wants to push this out there and do it. I think to capitalize on this is smart now, because from what we're hearing, John Wick is fantastic. Keanu Reeves will be in the spotlight again. Then you get Bill and Ted out there. This makes sense. As far as what he's saying in his comments, yes, I want to see what happened to Bill and Ted. I'm a fan. I don't know if maybe a 13, 14, 15-year-old might. Maybe they will. But it's all in how it's executed. It's all in how they do in the time travel. And ultimately, why didn't they save the world? If there's a good explanation for it, I want to see them as the saviors, and so they got to get a little better than 2, and go back to the fun of 1.
Is it possible that we could get Keanu returning to Speed as well as Bill and Ted, because then he's really doing the whole victory tour.
That's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed for that.
That's what I'm hoping for too.
I think also with Dumb and Dumber 2 coming out, it's like, okay, so we've got some older people who are returning to dumber roles. Let's see if we can maybe revisit Bill and Ted. But they've been talking about Bill and Ted for a long time.
They've been talking about it a long time.
I would
years.
love it, and I agree with you on the time travel thing. But at the same time, really, I mean, what do you watch those movies for? The characters. And if those characters are there, and if they are as funny as they were in the past and as likable as they are in the past, I would love if they had time travel aspects.
They have to have Socrates has to come back.
Yeah, Socrates is amazing. It's such a great movie. But like, if they had that revisiting to those characters, it's such an interesting idea. It could go really wrong really fast. But if they get the right kind of screenplay and treat it, with respect, I think it could be awesome.
And the Galaxy Quest director, I mean, that's a really good sign.
Although his last movie was Red 2, so he's had some.
It wasn't embarrassing.
No, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. Great, but it wasn't. But Galaxy Quest is a gem, and to have that kind of spoofy fun
I think it's
with
the nostalgia factor. I mean, I was like 12 when this movie came out. I loved it. Like, I would love to see those characters again, like you're saying, if it's done right. I've always been a huge Keanu Reeves fan. I know a lot of people marginalize him and say different things, but I actually will make a case that he's a great actor and never really got the due that he deserves.
That's a great versus topic, because I don't think so.
I do. I love Keanu. I mean, no one else could have been Neo. No one else could have been Johnny Utah.
I feel you on that.
I mean,
those are his roles.
Oh, yeah.
Speed,
and this film.
Matrix.
And so, I'm optimistic for it, but time travel has to be part of it. And then what do you do without Carlin? You have to recast that part.
Which is weird.
I'm sure. And the other thing, Chris brought up a good point as far as Dumb and Dumber 2 goes, because I wonder if Dumb and Dumber 2 bombs. Let's say it does that hurt this movie's chances? Because Expendables 2, 3, whatever. All
but they're still gonna make 4, 5, and 6.
That's true. What's that?
Do you like everything you've seen so far for Dumb and Dumber 2?
I'm skeptical going into it.
I'm happily optimistic, but at the same time, I'm being very careful, because it's so near and dear to my heart, and it's one of those things where those are one of the movies where if it isn't good, I might actually be sad. And so
I feel like this has. I mean. Yeah, I don't hold them on the same level. I love Bill and Ted, but Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite comedies ever, so that is even more dear place in my heart. This, I feel like they could just have a lot of fun with it, and
definitely.
like being stupid is going to be good in this case.
Right.
So I think that it will happen, and you're right. Winter wants this to happen so bad. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we've now reached the buy or sell portion of our show. Ashley has a couple other items going on in the world of movie news, and my Casual Couch Friday gents and I are going to say if we buy or sell it.
A new trailer has been released for the delayed production of the Wachowski siblings' Jupiter Ascending. The trailer shows new footage of stars Mila Kunis, Channing Tatum, Eddie Redmayne, and Sean Bean, and will now be released in February of next year. Chris, buy or sell the new trailer?
You know, the thing with Jupiter Ascending is it's like every trailer is like, coming soon, next year. Like it's gonna come out in 2017 eventually. But no, I don't know about Jupiter Ascending. I mean, the Wachowskis are obviously really impressive visual filmmakers, you know? But even the movies like Speed Racer still looked really cool, and it was different, and it had a unique look. The movie wasn't good, but it had a unique look, and so Jupiter Ascending is really, that's the only thing I can really be excited about right now for me, is how it will look, because to me the plot seems way too convoluted. Even in this new trailer, everyone's talking about like these levels of hierarchy and things like that, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be that well executed, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would. Based on the trailer alone, I would sell it. Actually, I was not really excited by the trailer. I think it looks convoluted, the plot, and I love the Wachowskis. I mean, I liked Cloud Atlas. I even like Speed Racer. I think a lot more than you did. But yeah, I'm just not. Based on the trailer alone, it kind of looked like a mess.
I'm going to buy it because it's such a vast improvement over the first one, and I do think that they took their time. They're citing it as the delay of adding more special effects, but it was more than that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm honestly mostly buying it to see Eddie Redmayne as a villain. I think he's going to be really spectacular in that. Channing Tatum, after Foxcatcher, I think we're all going to have a different opinion as well about his acting abilities. Mila Kunis, she's gorgeous, but honestly, she never really does it for me. I don't think she's that talented of an actress. She always kind of plays
And she looks vacant in the trailer.
She does, but I do think that, you know, the Wachowskis have been known for creating these very rich universes, and if they have pushed it and taken more time with it, I think that's a good thing in this case. I can't say I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, this looks epic, but it is such a vast improvement of the first one. I am giving them the benefit of the doubt.
But in February, this could be the best movie of February.
Maybe.
Since that's the release.
There's so many movies now that are getting, because of how big the slates are continuing to be, and from 2015, 2016, the shift, because normally January will continue to be the toilet bowl movie season. It's just what it is. But February is going to start getting better ones in. I don't know if this is it. But in regards to this trailer, not the movie, because the movie still, so far, I'm not on board yet. But this trailer, I buy it kind of big.
Yeah.
Because the first initial trailers, I agree, more on the point of being convoluted. I didn't know what was going on in those trailers. With this movie, I said, oh, wait, there's more. Like, I liked the big lizard creature that he was fighting throughout it. I liked that you get more of that Channing Tatum is this kind of special character that is the one savior that's going to be the protector, and what's happening. There's a hierarchy in government. So I got more from it. And I think that that's why they're pushing it back, because they probably thought, nobody knows what this movie's about. We can't make anything out of it. So they really crafted this trailer. And as they crafted this trailer, and the movie could very well be a mess. And I thought Speed Racer was a catastrophe. But the trailers, I thought, okay, I'm going to get something fun there. It looked visually incredible, and that's what they do. Everything they do is visually incredible.
Style over substance, though, is a problem.
And the last great movie they did, sorry, James McTeague, was V for Vendetta, because they directed that movie. So that was the last great one that they've done. And
Did you like Cloud Atlas?
No, I wasn't a big fan.
Not really.
I wasn't a big fan. So I'd like to see them interweave and do more story-based stuff in a very sci-fi, and this trailer did that for me. I really enjoyed this trailer way more than the others.
But I can respect what they tried to do with Cloud Atlas, like I do with all their projects. Even if it misses, they take risks as filmmakers.
One of the things that I have a hard time with the Wachowskis is they have a really hard time writing humor. Their movies aren't funny, and the last line where she made the dog joke,
it
was like crickets.
And the way she delivered it too.
Yeah, it was
not great.
What? Like that's how you end your trailer?
I hated that moment of the trailer. That trailer, that part of the trailer, I didn't like. The tone was going great, and then they said, no, we don't need to do that.
We don't need that.
You guys don't need to. Don't try.
They've had a really hard time with humor. I mean, even in like the Matrix sequels, like there was these moments where Neo and Trinity were trying to be funny, and it just was awful.
Yeah. Well, I think
there was comedy in the Matrix.
I mean, Matrix Revolutions wasn't.
I think that's the studio. I think that's the studio sometimes.
All right, Ashley, what's next?
The third Taken film is on the way with Liam Neeson back as the lead, who has acquired a very special set of skills over the years. The official title of the film has now been released, which reads Taken with a 3 in place of the E. Jamie, buy or sell this new title for Taken 3?
All right, I'm very excited for Taken 3. If we are just talking about the title, sell it.
Yes.
I hate it when they do this. Like, why? Because you're going to see it on marquee, you're going to be like, what? I don't understand. It's a terrible idea. No one should replace, please, Hollywood, stop replacing letters for numbers in your titles.
What is this, a horror franchise now? Take 3 in?
Yeah.
Like, remember Scream 4?
Oh.
Like, what is going on with this? I'm sorry, I hated Taken 2. Hated it. I thought it was one of the worst movies of the year. I loved the first one. She threw grenades off rooftops to let Liam Neeson know where she was. There could have been like an infant down there or something.
And why does Maggie Grace never age?
Yeah.
Why is she still like a 30-year-old woman
There's 5 of them.
playing
They're cloning her.
an 18-year-old?
In this one, I'm assuming that Liam Neeson's gonna like drop a bomb on a country and have like him coordinate his position with his daughter so she knows where it is based on the explosion or something.
Probably.
Like
I would love to see more of Neeson's character with that team that has some great actors like Leland Orser, and I would love to see more of that.
We're talking about the title.
We're talking about the title, guys.
Right. Because the movie itself, you know, whatever, the title is horrendous.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it. It's a big sell for me as well, too. It's a simple premise. It's a simple movie. You go to watch, just excitement and explosions. Simple title. Taken 3.
Taken 3. It doesn't even Taken 3, colon, the search for blah, blah, blah.
Taken 3.
Search for Maggie Grace or whatever.
Just
Taken 3.
But it does not
7
work for Taken because that was that. And I liked that in that context.
Clever.
But very clever. But in this, it's just like, come on. And like, Liam Neeson, I love him. I did see Walk Among the Two Stones. And you're right. He's good because you just love him. And it was a little more twisted. But I agree on Taken 2. Did not care for it. They literally tried to do the same formula, much less weaker execution. The first one was such a great surprise.
And you're right, 7 is the only example of when a number in the
but in this, it's like, come on, don't try to make this like a twisted, intricate, complex storyline. We know what we're gonna get. It's gonna have to be somewhat of the same story, or why would it be Taken trilogy?
Who gets taken? I mean, Maggie Grace can't get taken again. That poor girl.
The dog.
The dog. Okay.
No, exactly.
I'm back
I would
on.
watch that.
Yeah,
I would watch that.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
You've stolen my dog.
A new poster has been released for Birdman, which stars Michael Keaton as the title character, Edward Norton, and Emma Stone. Director Alejandro González Iñárritu's film focuses on Keaton as a struggling actor coming face-to-face with his big-screen superhero alter ego as he attempts to launch a career comeback. Amy Rose, buy or sell the new poster?
This poster fills my heart with so much joy. I'm buying it. It is so fantastic. It's really artistic and unusual. It's not just like throwing Keaton on the cover and calling it a day. And I just love it. Everything I've seen about this movie, I am so pumped for. And Alejandro's films are so deep and interesting. And this one's definitely going to have comedic elements to it. I'm excited to see Keaton. This is probably going to be the role of a lifetime. And then Edward Norton and Emma Stone. And I love the concept. It's so relevant right now with the superhero craze. So I love this poster and everything about this that's going on. Chris?
Yeah, I love everything I've heard about this movie so far. What I love about the poster is the black profile shot. I think that's really great. What I don't like is the cliched actor face boxes, where it's like every poster has to have like a, here's everyone in this movie. Here's our box. Here's our floating faces. Everything else about it I love, though. I love the black profile. I'm really excited about this movie. I've heard great things about it, and I wish I lived here so I could see all these movies early like you guys.
Yeah, come on.
I buy it, and I also buy the way you say Alejandro. But I buy it, and I actually love the profile pictures on the bottom because of what this movie is. It's an old school like throwback to the fact this guy was a superstar. He was like playing off Batman.
Batman.
And even the pictures themselves, when you look at him, you look at that '70s mustache that he has.
So good.
That's a play. All those pictures are a play on on what this movie is. So I actually love everything about this picture, the profile, and the movie itself. We're getting so much buzz on it. So much buzz on this movie, and Oscar buzz for Keaton.
That's what I was going to ask. Is he a contender?
Yes.
With this?
Tons of buzz for this, and everyone that I've heard that has seen this so far is raving about it. No pun intended. And they are absolutely going nuts for this movie. I can't wait. It's one of my most anticipated.
I've been writing them like every week. Can I get into a screening?
Yeah. I think some of the earlier one-sheet posters were better than this. I thought they were a little bit more artful. But I do like this poster. And it just makes me more excited for the movie. And I'm very excited for the movie, so I think that is also helping me to like the poster a little bit more. But the earlier one sheets that were a little bit more artistic and sort of, you know, it was just Keaton's face and done in a very artful way, I liked those better, but this is great. I look forward to it.
Cannot wait. All right, guys, we've now reached mailbag. Miss Mova has a couple other items picked out from you guys. User-submitted questions. What's the first one today?
Julio V wrote, other than Judas betraying Jesus, what are your top betrayals in movie history? Mine are Pachanga and Carlitos Way, Lando in Empire, Miranda Tate in TDKR, and George Lucas betraying the fans with the prequels. Thanks.
I love this question.
It's a great question. Great question.
A good question.
Well,
yes, Lando is such a good one.
That's the one they didn't mention.
That
Fredo.
One is
I knew it was you. You broke my heart.
Yeah, so good.
Another really good one would be Joe Pistone, Johnny Depp in Donnie Brasco. Another amazing one, Verbal Kent in Usual Suspects.
Verbal Kent.
Guys are Susan!
Yep. You know,
the
a great
greatest
one.
trick the devil
A fantastic one is you should have listened to your father.
Ooh.
Elsa Snyder from Last Crusade.
Ooh.
You spend the
that's
whole
a good
movie
one.
with her, you know, and
yeah.
you spend the whole film with her, and you're thinking love interest, you know, they make love and everything, and then nope, not your friend anymore. Another great one is Ash from Alien.
Oh, yeah.
The android from Alien, you know. You're
If
with
we're
him.
counting androids, absolutely.
Sure, Ian Holm, you know, you spend the movie with him. But you get this vibe from him the whole movie because he has like these lingering close-ups on him where he just has this look like he's examining things more than everyone else. And when you learn that he was really just there to control this thing and hopefully bring this thing back, it just changed the entire movie.
I'm going to go with a very obscure one that probably no one here has seen. It's a movie called Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone and Tom Sizemore.
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
I know this movie.
Great.
I know this movie. I'm gonna go with an obscure one because Fredo is Fredo is the one. I think Fredo and Lando Calrissian, you can't go wrong with those two. But I'll go with another obscure one. Not a great movie, but the villain was really good, good in it, and this twist, which is Roke, Idris Elba's character in The Losers.
Yeah. And how about Upham from Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, and Captain Dudley Smith in LA Confidential.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good
So
one.
many good ones.
I love this question.
Captain Dudley's a good one.
Great question. All right, what's next?
Caleb Sapp wrote, hey AMC, the podcast version of your show is one of the highlights of my workday, so thanks. My question is, who is an actor that you think is talented but has been dealt poor movies which had stifled their movie career? Mine would be Taylor Kitsch. His movie career never really got off the ground due to bad films, but I would like to see him succeed.
I could not agree with that statement more. I think Taylor is an incredible actor.
If you saw The Lone Survivor,
he was so great in that. Ben Foster and Taylor stole that movie for me.
Absolutely. He was really good. He turned me around in that movie.
Truly.
Me too.
And like even his Gambit in that god-awful mess of a Wolverine film.
He was okay.
And like even what's the Battleship, even he was good in that. He's good in everything, and I don't feel like he's had a chance. The first actor that comes to mind, again, a little more on the obscure side of like not breaking out, Hayden Christensen. I think he's a really good actor. I do.
I agree he didn't break out, but I'm not going to go with he's a good actor.
Check out his new movie with Nicolas Cage, or at least watch
Shattered Glass is the only good performance he's given.
He was really good in.
Everyone always throws Shattered Glass.
That's the only one.
That's the only one. Because he hasn't
11
had
years
a
old.
shape.
Yeah, that's the only one. Look at Jumper, Takers. He's not very
What I
good.
can say about Taylor Kitsch, though, is that he's one of these guys, and he's always the studio does this thing. The machine is like, and I bring this up all the time. It's like, hey, we want you guys to have a brand new movie star. So here's Sam Worthington. Oh, by the way, here's Taylor Kitsch. Taylor Kitsch has talent, but they just. And if you're an actor and everyone and the studio starts saying, "Hey, you
did it to Colin Farrell, who's a very
that's where
good
I was
actor.
going, and I was going with Colin, and that Colin Farrell was my where I was going with that.
Seven
because
Psychopaths.
Because
Colin Farrell.
And what about Saving Mr. Banks? Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah, Saving Banks. He's the best thing about Saving Mr.
Banks. In that movie, and the fact
I think he's very well respected, though. It's not like
a matter of well respected, though.
He's getting good roles.
Right, but his career. But look at his movies. The last one that he just did, when you put him in a starring role, same thing with Kitsch. When you put these guys in starring roles, their movies don't do well.
And it happened with Jude Law too. And Colin Farrell and Jude Law got the handsome young guys. These are the guys. Let's put them in these big action movies, and they're really character actors caught in handsome guys.
Right, but Colin Farrell, though, is a guy that has that star power, and that I think that's why I bring him back to this question, is because the choices that his team has made for him has been terrible. Because that's why I want to see what he does for True Detective.
Right.
He's going to him with True Detective. I hope, because he's one of my favorite actors out there. And I really, every time that guy shows up, even that what was that god-awful movie he just did in February with the romantic one that was
Winter's Tale.
Oh, it was horrendous.
But don't even bring that up in here.
But he is still engaging in that movie as much as whatever he's doing in it.
Well, let me give you my choice, because this goes way back. And I think this is a good example of making smart choices with your career that just don't pan out. Mark Harmon. Now, he's done quite well on TV, but if you go back to the 80s, he was coming off of St. Elsewhere and Moonlighting and was the sexiest man alive, right? And had an opportunity to do movies. Both of those shows produced Denzel Washington and Bruce Willis, two of the biggest movie stars of all time. So he does The Presidio, a summer action movie opposite Sean Connery and Meg Ryan. On paper, that's a brilliant choice, and the movie was pretty good. But it came out in the summer of Die Hard, Midnight Run, Roger Rabbit. It just tanked. And then Summer School, one of the funniest comedies of all time. Again, no one went to see it, and then his career just tanked. But on paper, those are good team choices to make
now he's a TV
those
star.
movies, and now he's a TV star.
I would argue Vince Vaughn as well, because, you know, Return to Paradise, he has had some incredible films, and I feel like, you know, the last couple, like, people are like, he can't really sell a movie the way he can.
But he had his day.
He did, but in recent years of his career, I don't like the decisions he's made.
He made the comedy, he became the comedy guy.
And also this other one that just came out.
I like that one, though. The one about the father.
Starbucks based on it. I thought it was okay, but again, it didn't open that great either. And now he's doing True Detective, which I think is a good move with our other boy, Colin Farrell.
I was going to say, based off what you guys are saying, True Detective might make you happy.
And the third person, and the third person involved in that, by the way, is another person rumored is Rachel McAdams, who hasn't had, she was rumored for everything, to be the big star. After like The Notebook and everything too.
Her.
She's great, but she hasn't had a career that people were calling her the next Julia Roberts at one point, where she was going to have this big career.
She's such a natural actress.
So she's another one.
Can I also submit to the court Keanu Reeves, as I was saying before? Obviously, he was a huge movie star.
John Wick,
but I really thought at one point, I mean, if you look at even Sean Penn and Johnny Depp, before they had, you know, their Oscar nominations, they were kind of marginalized as, you know, Madonna's husband who beat up paparazzi and the, you know, the surfer dude, and you know, they were great, and I really thought at one point Keanu Reeves would have that Oscar. I really thought he does.
Keanu has had amazing roles in her career.
Absolutely.
He just doesn't have the chops.
Yeah,
I think he has the chops and hasn't been given the opportunity to do it.
That he's had so many opportunities. The reason his style
the magic
works
mailbox
in Neo and stuff is because he's so stiff, and that's his thing. That's his shtick. So it's worked. He's had a decent career considering he's not incredible.
But I think Keanu could be an Oscar-worthy actor.
I don't know about that.
I'm the only one who thinks that, but I do think that.
Somebody I was thinking about was Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is an actor who, you know, he impressed a lot of people with Buried, and he was good in Buried. It was a really interesting idea for a movie, and then he made Green Lantern, and then he made all these other movies, and he hasn't been in a good movie since.
R.I.P.
The Proposal is probably his best movie since Buried. I mean, if you actually look at that and say that The Proposal is his best movie since Buried, that's sad. I mean, even the new movie he was in this year, The Captive, is not getting good buzz. I haven't seen it. And I mean, I think he is an actor who has talent if he's given the right role. He just has to find a script that's not
I think that's why he's pushing Deadpool as much as he is, because he's got to grip on the character.
He's got to find a script that's not the Green Lantern.
I think he's a great actor, and Buried, like that film, I was just like, I don't really want to see this, and I was completely enthralled for this the whole time in the movie with a guy in a box. Like what?
Here's the other thing Ryan Reynolds has going for him, and I think Keanu has had this going for him too. They're really likable dudes. Yeah. You want to like this guy. They may not be the strongest actors in the bunch, but you like them and you want to watch them on screen. So I think Reynolds has that too.
Well, there you go, guys. Well, we don't have any time for Twitter questions today because we had some very heated, exciting conversations.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us so much. I'd love to thank my panel. Sitting to my left, Mr. Jamie Philbrook from I Am Rogue.
Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you online?
So iamrogue.com. Check out the website. You can find us at I Am Rogue on Twitter, Facebook, and Jamie Philbrook Facebook as well.
The wonderful Christian Harloff. Where can people find you?
Well, AMC Jedi Council is coming back, and you guys have been so great interacting on Twitter. Do the same at Christian Harloff and ask me all your Star Wars questions. I love it, as well as Facebook and Instagram, the whole deal.
Chris Stuckman, I'm so happy we got you not once but twice this week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been really surreal for me, and I had a great trip in LA, and I thank you guys for having me on. You guys can find me at Chris Stuckman at YouTube. There's 2 N's if you want to see a nerdy guy talk about movies, and that's all.
We sure do. And the lovely Ashley Mova, our gatekeeper for today. Where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Friday, guys.
Movinator.
Yeah. I tell you, that shoulder shake makes me so happy. I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. You can find me at Amy Rosie on the various social channels. And I have some really exciting news. My favorite actor of all time, Mr. Sam Rockwell, is coming in for an in-studio interview with me on Monday for Laggy. So be sure to check out AMC Independent for that, as well as our new show, AMC Indie Spotlight. Hope you have a delightful weekend, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you Monday.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.